So tell me about developing that first prototype, meeting your first customers, getting the first product launch.
Oh, it was it's such a beautiful, exciting time because in the hindsight, when I look at what we did, it was quite small, but we felt like we had really just were sort of changing the world. It felt so exciting. But our first product was we had found out that the number one things, this is actually still true, the number one things kids do on the internet is they print coloring book pages. It's sort of a mother of all repositories for coloring book pages. And so, wasn't that terrible that, what a waste of a computer just to go and print a coloring book page. Why don't we create a way for kids to create their coloring book page, then print it in black and white and color it? Okay. And so that was our first, the very first thing we did was we created the ability for kids to create custom coloring book pages. So,
and how did you know that you were onto something?
From a very early stage, again, I've always had this belief, we're designing for kids, we need kids. So I was bringing kids on site. So as soon as we had anything, I was calling Girl Scout troops. I was calling friends who had kids that could bring in their different kid groups, different ages, and really watching kids use it. And we would actually give kids the option of you can use this for a while, and if you don't like it, you can also just color, right? And so there's ways to do very good testing to decide whether, is it really something engaging as opposed to, kids are so smart, right? Kids really want you to be happy. They're just like people, right? They're like, oh, you're so smart, it's so great, I love your product. And so it's actually hard to really dig out whether what you've done is actually of interest. It was certainly not, lots of things didn't work. So for instance, so kids really liked it. They got excited about it. So kids are so interesting. They're so much more creative than adults in these very interesting ways. I'll just give you one really cool example. We had the notion of stars. So we had a palette. You could pull in objects and really create a very rich picture. You pick different backgrounds and stuff, and you print it, and it would just be a line drawing. Well, one thing was a star, and if you pulled a star into the sky and then dragged it down, it would go behind the horizon because it was a star. So as a kid, he was getting really frustrated, and we were saying, what's wrong? He's like, I want to put the star on the wizard's jacket. It's like, of course you do. so we did, lots of things didn't work. The other thing is that the kids tended to add a whole lot of stuff, and so when they printed it, it didn't make a very good coloring page because the crayon couldn't fit into how small they made things. And so I don't mean by any sense was our product seamless. It was certainly, it wasn't, but it felt, it was really clear that it is a wonderful thing to create, and there's kinds of ways in which you can create online, or you can create with software that bring a different dimension to what you can do physically. Physical creation still being very important, but there's this whole kind of other rich thing that can happen.